everybody. Welcome to my quick class. This is Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Always hard to get started, don't know why. Anyway, I'm here today with a stamp set and coordinating dies called Share a Milkshake. They're both called Share a Milkshake. And uh, with that set, I'm going to create some very summery and warm looking cards because it all involves ice cream. So it's a beautiful day here in Basking Ridge, and it's a little cool on the cool side, but we've had some warmer days. So I have been playing with this stamp set also because I have a class tonight and I'll be making these cards with them. They got all the supplies, and we're going to make 5 cards in that class. That's my bundle class. This is no longer offered as a bundle, just so that you know. It was a bundle in the mini catalog that was available earlier this year, but now it's in the main catalog as 2 separate pieces. But you can still get it, and hopefully many of you have it already. And here are a couple of cards. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's flip over to my desktop, and here we have it. This is the stamp set, Share a Milkshake, and it is adorable. We have milkshake glass, and these are 2 pieces that overlay to make the glass and give it a little bit of dimension. We have a cherry, we have some big ice cream, then we have an ice cream bowl and some ice cream, some nice sayings, even a spoon and straws, hearts. It's so much fun to play with. It's very funny. The cards I'm making today do not include a milkshake. We are making just some bowls of ice cream and an ice cream cone. So just kind of interesting how that worked out. But here are the coordinating dies so that we can make all of these different cards. So you'll see how we use them in just a second. So the first card that I'd like to create for you is this very simple one. It uses both stamping and the dimension. I really want to show you a trick on how to do that. And then just some other general pieces that are available throughout the catalog. And we of course have some chocolate ice cream with some fudge. So anyway, let's see how we do this. So I'm going to start with the card base. It's just real red folded in half. Half card sheet and fold it in half, and then we're going to put a piece of white on the inside. Now before I do that, I just want to show you really quickly that the same size piece of white is going to be used for the cover, and for that I'm using one of the Basics 3D embossing folders that's available online only. So if you are looking in the catalog for it, you're not going to find it. It's part of a trio that you get all at the same time. And you just slide it in. It is 3D, so you need to use the specialty embossing platform. But that's how we're going to make our cover. So anyway, back to putting something on the inside of our card. Going to go ahead and use my Stampin' Seal today. I do have glue, so we might use that later. We'll see. Okay, so I always like to put white on the inside of any dark piece of cardstock because you want to be able to write in it, right? And be able to see what you're writing. So next up, we are going to, giving some things away here, we're going to use that piece that I embossed. I did that earlier so that we wouldn't have to waste time with that. So I'll go ahead and put that onto the card front. I could have used wet glue, but this one has enough places that will touch the paper, so I feel that it works just as well on this. Okay, so for this piece, I just took some early espresso, and I gave it a little flag at the bottom. And just so that you know, when you take one of my bundle classes, which I hold once a month, usually on the 3rd Wednesday. Oh, this is delightful. I'm not getting any glue out of this one. But when you take my classes, you purchase the bundle, and then I send you 5 card kits that we then make together on a Zoom. And I also provide a PDF tutorial so that you can make the cards on your own. But the best part is that right away you're making 5 cards using your new bundle. So just note that next month's bundle that I'll be doing a class for is the circle. It's the one with the the big circle punch. I'll look that up for you in a second. Okay, so now that we've got our banner there, I just took a piece of, this is 2.5 by 2.5, I believe, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this. I know it makes it so much easier when everything's already cut out, right? So I do all the pieces of this, and then you do all the stamping and die cutting. So with the exception of things that are not included in the bundle. For example, this is one of the stylish shapes, and so I go ahead and do that for you because you may or may not have a circle of this size. Okay, so now our card is ready to go. So let's put this aside. That was quick and easy, right? And now we're going to create the pieces to cut out to make our dish. Here, let me pull it down, our little dish of chocolate ice cream. And I'm using, let's see, this is going to use I'm using Real Red for the bowl. Just went with the rest of the card. Just decided this was a good combo, and I'm going to show you how I do this. So the first thing I do is I take, this is the bowl stamp, and I'm going to ink it up. And for this, I'm going to stamp off, okay? And then I'm going to stamp it back onto my paper that I'll be using to die cut, okay? Next, I'm going to take this funky looking piece. Look at this. Isn't that funny looking? But this is the detail that you apply to the bowl to give it that little dimension. And the same thing with the milkshake glass that I pointed out earlier. The key for this for me, and I still don't get it exactly perfect, but for me, it really helps to turn it upside down. And the reason is, I don't know if it's because I am right-handed or I do some things lefty. I don't know. So maybe somebody can help me with that. But I'm just going to get my glasses and put them on. But I want to line up the left edges. That makes sense to me. Now, not every, maybe you have a trick that you can do otherwise. All right. And so what I'm going to do is link this up. All right. So I'm lining up, as you can see, and when I lay it down with full strength, you notice I didn't stamp off. You see that I then have that dimension. Okay, I wasn't absolutely perfect, but it is easier, I think, with the big milkshake. Hello, 5 boys, 1 baby girl. Trying to remember. Oh, I know who that is. Hi, Betsy. No, not Betsy, huh? Somebody remind me who you are. That's on. Anyway, so that's how I got my bowl. And then I'm going to stamp, my cherry as well, because I have my red ink pad out. So here we go. Okay, so we have our pieces stamped, and then we also have to make our chocolate ice cream. So for that, I am using pecan pie. This is one of the new colors. Yes, Betsy, hello. Sorry about that. I just panicked, thought it wasn't you. Anyhow, so here we have pecan pie. Again, it's one of the new colors, not an in color. It's one of our base colors. And I'm going to use the ice cream stamp that has the flat bottom, okay? And I'm going to stamp that just in another spot on this little scrap of paper. Okay, so now that we have that, I am going to use the following dies, and I just wanted to show you how I do that. Let's see. You can see I keep mine. Sometimes I put them on a metallic magnetic sheet, but haven't gotten to that yet with this. I literally just opened it this week, this stamp set, even though I've had it for a little while. So I use that's for the bowl. And this is for the ice cream. And these are all pretty self-explanatory, and the little cherry, and you can see that I am using washi tape. This is all retired Stampin' Up! Washi tape, but you can use any washi tape or any Post-it note to put on there. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my die cutting machine, and voila, through the magic of television, here we have, keep losing this little cherry, here it is. All right, so now we have our pieces. So let's go ahead and put that on our card. So I'm going to take the bowl and I'm going to use one dimensional, a single dimensional, I should say, right? And we're going to add that to the bottom of the circle. Going to add, now with the chocolate ice cream, I found that I always get a white edge, and sometimes that's good, but for what I want to do here, I'm actually going to trim off the excess so that it will lie flush against the bowl. The way I did get some white. So that's going to, see, go right on top. And again, I did use a dimensional for that. And then I'm going to put a dimensional for the cherry. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my dimensional on the paper, kind of a little bit underneath, so that when I put it on, I know where it goes. Okay, so there we have that. Oops, I forgot an important piece. I forgot to show you how I'm going to die cut out the little fudge. Now the fudge, we have a big fudge and a little fudge. This is the little fudge, and that would go through my die cutting machine. And of course, I've already cut that out as well. So here we go. We have this. So I'm actually going to attach this using just a little bit of wet adhesive, just to make it easy to position, because I am going to slide it under. Remember, there's no adhesive on there. I use this would have been much easier had I applied it before, but you can see how I get my fudge on the top of the ice cream, and we have a lovely little card with a bowl of ice cream. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of pecan pie cardstock, and I'm going to, this is early espresso that I'm using here, and I'm going to use the word celebrate. Quick and easy, stamp it in the middle, and then I'm just going to flag the ends. And when I flag the ends, the way that I'll do it, I usually have my littler Stampin' Up scissors here. These are old Stampin' Up scissors. I'm just going to cut it close, and then when I want to flag it, I cut a line in the center, and then I cut to it from each corner. So there's one, and there's two. So here we have one flag. Is it perfect? Probably not. We do have a punch that does the same thing, even for 1/2 inch. But I didn't pull it out today for this particular project. Sometimes it's just easier for me to do this way. And here we go. Okay, once we have that, I'm just going to use, I'll use my tape runner again. Oops, I got a little extra there. That's what I just cut off. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down at the bottom, centered more or less. And there you have it. So that is card number 1. And again, this is one that I'll be doing in my card class tonight. So that is the first one. And I wanted to do a second one because, you know, I was cutting the paper for this. And so here we go. I figured let me just show you a couple of other things with this. So this is an ice cream cone. And let me show you how we get that. So just get out the main pieces of, cardstock and all the pieces that I pre-cut. So this is Pool Party, and I should use a scoring bone, but don't have one right here. So now this paper is from the balloon bundle. The balloon, I'm going to look it up because it's right next to me and I know where it is. It is the first bundle in the new catalog. And of course, my pages are sticking together, and it is called Beautiful Balloons is the bundle, and the paper is called Bright and Beautiful. So it has kind of celebration type paper on one side, and then on the other it has different in colors. I am calling this the pink, the new pink, the bubble bath, but it might be kind of a cross between bubble bath and fresh freesia or something like that. But anyway, I just cut this. This is 3 inches by 5.5 inches to go in the center. of the card. And then I took some vellum. I love working with vellum, but the tricky thing about vellum, if you've worked with it before, is that you can see the adhesive through it. So let me show you. So I added my adhesive. Even wet adhesive shows, and it gives that shadow, right? You can see it right through the paper. So I put it in the center where I know that I am going to be putting my ice cream cone. Okay, and this is 2¼ inches wide by 5½, and there you see it with the adhesive line right in the middle. Okay, so that's our card base. So we've got that going. So that's great. So now I'm going to take a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to use this die. It's a tricky one. Check it out. So this is actually going to make an ice cream cone, and you can see it's also going to emboss these lines on it at the same time as cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and put that through the machine, and voila, here it is. We have this lovely ice cream cone. Now, what I do is I flip it over. Well, what I really do is I go along the score lines, okay, and I'm going to have my cone come out this way. Now, of course, you could do it so it's this way, but I think it looks better. I guess it's a waffle cone, right? Starting to get used to that terminology now that it's time for ice cream. And I'm going to just put, I'm going to use my regular Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to close this up. So again, here we go. It is closed, and now I have this lovely ice cream cone. Okay, so since that's done, I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it onto my card, making sure that I'm covering that adhesive, right? Okay, so here we go. So now we want ice cream, and what I'm going to do is use a piece of paper, and I'm going to, well, pretend I could do this. I'm going to be using this. This is the stamp, okay? It looks like a cloud. I think we could always use it as a cloud as well. And I'm going to stamp that in 3 different colors, and I've done that already because you've already seen how this process works. And notice that all of these, when you use the die cut, let me show you that die cut before I do anything else. When you use that die cut, which is this one, you can see it's kind of a funny shape, right? And then when you flip it over, you can see that there is a cutting edge right in the middle. And that's because, not on this card, but when we're making the milkshake, or we could have done it on the bowl, you have a little slot that can be used to put your straw, right? Die cut out a straw, or a spoon. It's the cutest little spoon. There's a stamp for it, and then there's this little spoon, and I do use it on other cards, but not the ones that I'm sharing today. So I've gone ahead and I have 3 scoops of ice cream, as well as, let's see, anything. Oh yes, the other thing I die cut out was the hearts. So this stamp set, I think, originally was designed and featured as a Valentine set. It does have a Valentine, Be My Valentine wording in it, but I think it's great for pretty much anything, but it is nice to have a Valentine set in my collection, another Valentine set, and some more hearts. So I used this die to cut out hearts out of Melon Mambo. Oh yes, let me tell you the colors that I used. This is Pool Party, this is Bubble Bath, and this is Melon Mambo. And that's how I made the ice cream. So let's go ahead and put this together. I am going to, again, use dimensionals. I'm having a little trouble picking things up today. All right, here we go. So we have one. I'm going to put the dimensionals at the bottom of each of the scoops of ice cream. Whoops, there goes one. And then I'm going to, so this way they build on top of each. Actually, what am I talking about? I'm going to do, so I have one dimensional at the bottom of the first scoop of ice cream. Next, I'm going to put just adhesive at the bottom of the next piece, and I'm going to put it on. And I'm going to take the last one and put that on as well. And I'm going to just make sure that you can get to that. And then we have the little hearts. Now, let's see what I've got here. It comes out with 3 sizes of hearts, and I'm just going to use the little one. I'm going to use some glue, and I'm actually going to cover the hole on this one. Okay, so looks like we need a little more adhesive on this. Let's just squish a little more. Of course, I took the wrong one. Always something. Okay, so now we've got our next one, and then we're going to use a spot of glue right over that hole, and we're going to take our little heart. We could have tucked it in, but on this one I'm just going to go over it, and I'm going to tip it up a little bit. That's the nice part about using glue, right? Is that you can move it around. Okay, so the last thing I have to do for this card is to stamp right on the vellum, and I did this last because I prefer when you're working with vellum and our dye-based inks, which are water-based, the ink doesn't dry very fast, okay? So rather than, I could have stamped it first and then applied, assembled the card, but instead I decided to do it last, centering it at the bottom. Life is sweeter with you. If I touch this now, it will still be wet. Normally, that is not what happens, but when you stamp on vellum, it does not absorb. It's a little, it's not as porous, so it does not absorb the ink, which is why it takes time to dry. So anyway, those are the cards for today. Again, this is the Make a Milkshake, Share a Milkshake bundle class, which I'm holding tonight. And my next class, let's find it, is I think Circle Sayings. So let me find it for you in the catalog so I can show you. It'll be on the 3rd Wednesday of June. I already have some people signed up. I'm very excited. It's the Circle Sayings bundle, and it's on page 17 of the new catalog. And here it is. Let me just show you. So we'll be using this stamp set, and the bundle includes the 2 3/8 inch punch, which is a new size circle for us. And again, it's good for a lot of different occasions. So if you're interested in signing up for that, just let me know. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're on replay, thank you for watching on my YouTube channel or on Facebook. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at brendamillersu.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.